And Senator John Barrasso, member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, great to have you in studio this
Thanks for
morning.
having me.
Yeah, nice to see you. It's hard to believe that we're a week out. Do you think this is actually going to happen?
Well, I do, and I'll tell you, credit to President Trump. He has replaced a policy of weakness with a policy of strength for the United States in his 16 months in office. And around the world, leaders, whether it's Kim Jong-un, whether it's Vladimir Putin, they respect strength. They can smell weakness. The president is doing the right thing, and I congratulate him.
What specifically do you give the president credit for? How did he get us to this point?
Well, there's been a lot of posturing over the last 16 months, but when he came into office, he found North Korea that had a nuclear weapons system in place, I think much more sophisticated than anybody around this country believed it was because of what had happened in the last administration. He has gotten him to the table with the demand, and he knows going into this what he wants, which is a complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. So he's very firm. He doesn't want more. He doesn't want less. But that's what you have to do when you're working on a deal like this.
And part of that negotiation has been the president showing his willingness and ability to walk away if it's needed. And to go back to Speaker Gingrich's point, they might wake up that morning, be having breakfast, something could change and this whole thing could get scrapped. That's obviously a possibility.
It could. And President Trump knows that North Korea with a nuclear weapon makes the entire world less safe, less secure, less stable. And with their intercontinental ballistic capacity to hit the United States, the president knows we need peace and stability abroad if we want security at home. He's doing absolutely the right thing, but he is willing to walk away if that happens. And I think walking away from the Iran deal was a big part of this. So North Korea can't show up and say, oh, we want the same deal that Iran has, where, inspections when we want them, keeping the missiles. The president was right. And I think that set the stage for
all
this.
Pieces of the puzzle coming together, it sounds like you're saying. So as far as a victory for this administration, a victory for your party, how big would this be to have this sit down?
Well, I think it's big already. And it's important for North Korea, too, to come to the table. And I think long term, it's most important for them to get rid of their nuclear weapons. If they want to be engaged in a world economically, it's going to be better for them. But look, the president has restored America's power around the world, militarily, economically, politically. He's doing absolutely the right thing.
Another big piece of this puzzle has been the president's team around him and Mike Pompeo.
Well, I've worked with Mike Pompeo. We've traveled the world together to security conferences when he was in Congress, and then as Secretary of right now Secretary of State. But before that, CIA. He's clear-eyed on this. He knows that North Korea is talented at burying, hiding, moving nuclear weapons, moving their weaponry around. He is the right person to be there, as well as Secretary of Defense Mattis. They're a good team working with the president.
Now, what are we supposed to think about word of a possible Putin-Trump summit? The U.S. ambassador to Russia, John Huntsman, was on our air over the weekend, and he responded to word of this, and here's what he had to say.
To any potential meeting, it would be a ways off, and the president at the right time will say what needs to be said. The White House will obviously make an announcement. But I think the president has stated before that he would like to get together with President Putin at some point and solve some of the issues between us, and that's a good thing.
I think this is a possibility.
Well, it is a possibility. Putin is cunning, aggressive, opportunistic, and he has said he wants to restore the former Soviet Union. But he's a guy who respects strength, and President Trump is a strong leader. So a meeting like this, from the art of the deal, President Trump knows if you want to get to a negotiated deal, you have to actually be visiting with the person who can say yes. And in terms of Russia, Vladimir Putin is that person.
And in terms of conditions that you would want to see set in order for this Trump-Putin summit to take place, what would they be?
Well, that's a long way off, but certainly with what Putin has done in Ukraine, with incursions, with taking over Crimea, a number of things that he's doing with his role right now in Syria, that all has to be part of it before such a summit could happen.
The president this morning has put out, the White House has put out 500 days in, the accomplishments in office. Obviously, foreign policy and the strategy that this president has implemented, they are touting as a big win so far. Where are your criticisms, Senator?
Well, let me go back. That's not just foreign policy. The economy. You look, consumer confidence at an 18-year high, unemployment at a 19-year low. We've cut taxes best in 31 years, gotten rid of so many regulations. You know, would I have liked to do more? Yes. Judges, conservative judge on the Supreme Court, 21 Circuit Court judges. This is a president and a Congress working together, a teammate. The president needs reinforcements in the upcoming election, but what this president and this Congress working together as a team have been able to accomplish truly is historic.
Are you optimistic heading into the midterms?
Well, I am. I was just in Wyoming over the weekend again, traveling around the state, visiting with people. There is a sense of confidence and optimism and a positiveness, certainly around Wyoming and around the country, that I think we can all be very happy about.
Senator, it's great to have you in studio this morning.
Sandra, thanks for having me.
Good to
Thanks,
have
Bill.
Come on back, all right?
I will.
I don't know
Thank you.
how Abby booked that guest over the weekend. That was some,
Lots of
some
work.
tricky stuff.
That's,
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
There are numerous